everyone. Thanks so much for coming. Today we have an amazing guest that I'm so excited to introduce everyone to. We have been Insta friends for ages, and I'm so excited to be able to chat with her in person and find out more about all the cool shit she's up to. So welcome, Reanne. Thanks so much for coming. I'm really excited that you're here. Do you mind kind of telling us a little bit more about you and what you do in the online world and kind of, what you're really doing this year that I'm excited for you to kind of share with all of us?
Yeah, for sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I am a writer, formally trained. So a few years ago, I got this crazy idea that I wanted to write a book, and I had no idea how to go about it, but I decided that if I was going to write a book, I also needed a blog. So I created a space online to kind of write about all the things that I would talk about in the book and create this audience and like rad girl gang of women who don't believe in the number on a scale and who aren't afraid to wear a bikini and who just like are themselves unapologetically.
Amazing.
So yeah, I've been on this journey I've been writing the book for like 2 years, but I just relaunched my blog in September and like have been really like hardcore into it since then.
It looks incredible too. I've been, of course, fangirling over it, and the design of it is so cool. I'm kind of obsessed. Yeah. So tell us some more about like kind of what it means to, to you to be like a little fool and kind of like, I really love your philosophy on being a woman in today's, technological world where it's kind of terrifying everything that's going on around us. And I think a lot about that in terms of like, I have a little sister, and I think about, if I had grown up in the, Instagram world where there's Kylie Jenners and everyone else who looks freaking incredible and is kind of only showing this part of their life that's so produced. So what is it like? Tell us a little bit more about your philosophy and what it's like to be like a girl in 2017.
Yeah, like you said, it's completely terrifying. For the longest time, I was like constantly covering myself up and trying to like buy products that would change the way my face looks or like plump my lips or, contour, all of this crazy stuff. And I spent like equal to a college tuition at Sephora and realized, wow, I'm nowhere further ahead than I was. And anyone who matters doesn't care that I contoured my face or like what's going on up there. So I've just started thinking a lot about beauty and what it means to be beautiful and what it means to feel beautiful and how we define it in this society. And I think everyone has a different definition. And I was ruminating on it forever. And I realized I had all these essay ideas and these stories I could tell about the things I've done for beauty in my life, which are just insane. Like some of them illegal, some of them like my mom will probably cry about, like absurd, which it's all in the book.
Amazing.
But yeah, I just started thinking about beauty a lot. And then I started thinking about The Great Gatsby. Of course, I'm a huge literary geek. So there's that line that Daisy says, the best thing a girl can be in this world is a beautiful little fool.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I got the Little Fool book from.
Amazing. So cool.
And yeah, it all just kind of spiraled out from there. And I guess the motive behind Little Fool book is just to let girls know that we're all sort of going through the same things. We all feel those insecurities, and we've all done these crazy things to kind of give in to the pressures of this world. And I just want other women and other girls to know they're not alone and to not feel shame or guilt over any of that, and to kind of just laugh about it and say, okay, that happened, let's move on. Like,
Yeah, like don't take yourself so seriously. I find that really cool because that's sort of what the Game Changer series is all about. It's about, I think, a lot of what you're talking about in kind of just the everyday life of girls and women. really translates into the business world. And there's a similar vibe online where we're only seeing kind of the best snippets of people's businesses. We're only seeing how they made, 6 figures in 6 months, and how they're working from a beach. But yeah, even though you can work from the beach, like that is a real cool perk about what we do. That's not the reality all the time. And I think a lot of us do feel this pressure to kind of have this perfect business and this perfect life, and even have this perfect like morning routine and miracle mindset and all of this. How do you find that your sort of self-acceptance and just fully going forward with your mistakes and being real, how do you find that like translates into the business world and running your own business authentically?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you touched on some really good points there. Running your own business is insane. Like on top of Little Fool Book and writing the book and managing the blog, I'm also a freelance writer. And that's where I make like my actual money, because I'm not writing Little Fool Book for money right now. It's just like a cool place for girls to hang out.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly grinding with my freelance gig, and it's not glamorous at all. And just the other day I had lunch with a friend I hadn't caught up with in a while, and she was like, what is your life? You're constantly traveling and you make your own hours, and that's amazing. And I'm like, yeah, I live out of a suitcase and I work insane hours, and sometimes I like don't sleep because I have a deadline.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have no jobs at all, and I'm like, well, how am I going to afford rent this month?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it is just, it's what I want to do. Like I want to be a writer in any capacity that I can. So I just make it work, and I am easy on myself. I know that I can't afford like the newest clothes, and I can't afford to be going to the fanciest restaurants like a lot of I'm seeing on Instagram.
Right.
The lifestyles that some of my friends are living, and that's just not my reality right now. But I'm doing what I love. So it's just kind of an acceptance of where I'm at and meeting myself where I'm at and saying, hey, you're doing exactly what you want to do. So be grateful.
Yeah. Is there anything better?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that you said that, because I think, again, there's a lot of this like kind of really snazzy marketing online that's like only work, 4 hours in the 4-hour work week and all of that.
Right.
And I kind of joke with my girlfriends sometimes and say like, yeah, I don't work a 9-to-5 job. I work a 5 to 9 job.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's like, but at the same time, like you said, we're doing what we love, and it doesn't feel as like soul crushing as doing what you don't love can feel like. So I'd love to know more about your kind of philosophy on self-love, and how that kind of makes you a better, friend to yourself, but also how does that make you better show up in the business world and in your freelance gigs and writing your book and your blog and all of that?
Yeah, sure. So my philosophy on self-love, that word kind of trips me up. Self-love is simple. Like it's, just checking in with yourself, and it's 100% vital to your well-being, but it's also super complicated because self-love is hard, especially in this world, like with Instagram, with social media, with like everything, marketing. It's really hard to see past all of that and just like love yourself for who you are. So I say this often, and I say it because it's 100% true. Self-love is so much more than a mani-pedi combo at the mall. And it's important to know that, yes, we can treat ourselves, but we also have to just meet ourselves where we're at any given moment. And we have to be okay with that. So it's a constant journey. Like you have to constantly work at self-love. And it means a lot of different things at a lot of different times. Sometimes it's, listening to your body when you need to rest, and not going out or not working late that night because you just can't anymore. And sometimes it's ordering pizza because, you've had a hard week and you need to just like veg out. Like it's whatever at any given time. It can be anything. You just have to tune in
Yeah. So speaking of kind of tuning in, do you have like a daily practice or a morning routine that you do that kind of helps you kind of quiet your mind or set yourself up for a really awesome day where you don't have that inner mean girl, talking shit to you all day?
Yeah, that's a really great question because I actually wrote an article about this on Little Fool Book a few months ago. I was deep into the hole of researching all of these creatives and genius like morning routines, and I figured like, oh my God, I need to have a morning routine. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be so much better. I'll make more money. Like, life will be good. I'll fit into my skinny jeans. All of this. So I started trying to have a morning routine, and I did everything. I woke up at like 6 a.m. I oil pulled. I made like
Oh my
7
God.
different variations of like lemon water, and I was journaling, and I got burnt out. Like, I realized that 1, I'm not a morning person, and 2, I'm not a routine person at all. And it simply didn't work for me. So my morning routine is like an anti-morning routine
Amazing.
where I wake up without an alarm clock. So I just like let myself wake up at whenever my body does,
I love that. So when
which
do you get up?
it varies. Some days when I'm really well rested, I'll wake up around 6 or 7 and I'll be good to go.
Wow.
And other times when I'm not, I'll lay in bed till like 8 or 9, and it just depends.
That's
So
so cool.
it's one of the best things about being your own boss and making flexible hours is
Yeah.
I hate the sound of an alarm clock. And so if I never have to hear it again, I'll be very happy.
That's so good. I also hate the sound of an alarm clock. So my alarm is like birds chirping, like
Yeah, that's
artificially.
better.
But now I'm like programmed to hate birds. So it's kind of backfiring, but still
Right.
better than an alarm.
The
That's so
birds
cool.
singing on the street just like irritate you now.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, 5 more minutes, birds, like chill.
Yeah. Jeez.
um, Cool. But so do you have any kind of tips for people who are sort of starting their self-love journey or are being hard on themselves in terms of, um, you know, beauty or, they're starting their own business and they feel like they're behind or they're not good enough or, they're not making enough money or whatever, comparing yourself to really anyone. Do you have any tips for like starting a practice in any way? Something small that can help to sort of make self-love a little bit easier, because I know it can be kind of like a big scary thing at first because like you said, it's a very simple thing, just love yourself, but we have like years of
Yeah.
the opposite thing going on in our head.
Years of an inner mean girl like
Yeah.
bullying us. Yeah, for sure. I'm so glad you asked because 2 of my friends, girl boss friends, they are the creators behind Urban Alchemy. I teamed up with them about 2 years ago and we created Love Bomb Bootcamp,
Oh, so
which
cool.
is essentially a 30-day practice of self-love to kickstart yourself into that kind of whole world and realm of loving yourself, because as I mentioned before, it is really hard. Like you said, if you have years of your mean girl chattering in your head, it's hard to silence her. So we created a 30-day program. It's like a virtual boot camp, and it gives you tips and tricks and all of these practices to infuse into your daily life so that you can make self-love a practice.
So cool.
Yeah, so some of the things include like starting a gratitude journal and planning a date with yourself is another one, which is a really, really cool one and can be very transformative. Like if you actually go out with yourself.
Oh my God. That would be that's terrifying for me.
It's terrifying for so many girls. It was for me too. And then I moved to London for a few months and I was there by myself. So I had to get really comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And it really changed my self-love practice because I realized that I like spending time with myself, and that's really important.
Yeah. Wow. That's really cool. That's such a good idea. Okay. So if somebody wanted to like join the Love Bomb Bootcamp, can they still do that?
Yeah, for sure. We have enrollment is rolling on a month-to-month basis. So
Amazing.
every month you can sign up to start one at the beginning of a month.
Cool.
And you just go to lovebombbootcamp.com and everything you need to know is there.
Cool. Okay, I'll put the link in this video as well.
Cool.
So bomb. I'm definitely going to try to go on a date with myself. I have a feeling I would kind of just go on my phone the whole time, so maybe I would have to leave my phone at home too.
That's part of the challenge too. We challenge everyone in the boot camp to ditch their phone or like put it away for a little bit and take a journal or take a book. Or,
yeah. It's very like Parisian, I feel like.
It is. Like mysterious.
Yeah, like who is this girl just reading at the restaurant? Okay, so I know that you are right now in Laguna Beach and you kind of have been traveling and you don't, you're a digital nomad doing your thing. So do you have like systems in place or, marketing or anything like that you kind of have on autopilot? So if there are days when you're traveling or if you want to just like, hit the beach or something like that you have systems in place that are kind of working for you?
Yeah, for sure. So I write all my blogs, like I try and get them all done like a month in advance.
Oh, amazing.
And then the way I do that, it's hard to bulk write, but I'll sit down with a notepad and a pen and write like the scaffolding for every post. Yeah. And it'll maybe take me 10 minutes a post. And then when I go to write, it's really easy because I've already thought about it. I've already I know what I'm going to say. I know how I'm going to say it. It's structured. So then I sit down to write and I'll usually try and get like at least 2 weeks of posts done. And then I just schedule them all in my Squarespace account. And like right now, I have no idea what's coming out next, but I know something is coming out next. And it's really nice, like having that as well. I use MailChimp. Yeah. And that's for all my newsletters and all of that. And I also use Planoly for Instagram.
Ah, amazing.
Which, like, sometimes I find Instagram really challenging to keep up with. Like, always finding a great picture and always finding, like, the right thing to say. Yeah. So when I'm feeling creative, I'll go in and pre-plan all of my Instagram for, like, the month. And then that runs on autopilot, too. It just, I get a notification that says you have to post a photo now, tells me what to say, what picture, and it's great.
I know. I also kind of feel like I go through periods of being really creative and then times where I just feel not creative or I just want to be more like systems oriented. Yeah. So when I'm in that like real creative mood, then I feel like that's when I create the coolest stuff for Instagram or even my blog and stuff like that. So it's nice to kind of like have the systems in place so that it supports you when you are creative, rather than like feeling forced to do what you feel like you have to do. Totally.
Yeah. Before I started the pre-writing, I would get so stressed out by like knowing I have to post a blog post on this day and I hadn't written anything, and it was terrifying and I dreaded it. Yeah. And when I started like capitalizing on my creativity, like, oh, I'm feeling like I've got a lot to say right now. Like, let me sit down here, write a bunch out and put it onto autopilot. It's awesome.
Yeah. And I feel like it kind of makes you more, like I'm more proud of the work that I do when I do it when I'm kind of inspired. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
Rather than, like you said, if you felt like, okay, I have to get out a post today and then you're just like forcing something out. Yeah. Just so that it's done.
It takes away the magic of it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So cool. So, okay, I want to talk more about this really exciting new thing that you have going on, the Summer of Self-Love, that I'm really excited to kind of jump into. So can you tell me kind of more about it and how everyone else can get involved? Because I'm already in.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think summer is a time when we can be most hard on ourselves, like with bikini pics and juice cleanses and like all of that stuff. So my friends at Urban Alchemy, the girls I do Love Bomb Bootcamp with, we kind of decided we should do a summer of self-love. So they're doing one over on their blog. I'm doing one on my blog, and it's all kind of like the same vibe. And we just want to inspire and celebrate the female body and make women proud to be alive this summer and proud to like show off what they've got, I guess.
Yeah. And whatever it is.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
And just celebrate themselves instead of feeling shame about themselves or putting beach cover-ups on or whatever.
Yeah.
So at littlefoolbook.com every week there's self-love inspired articles and tips and rituals and funny stories that will be posted all summer long. When you sign up for the Summer of Self-Love on littlefoolbook.com, you'll also be entered into the end of summer giveaway. Mm-hmm. And you'll get 15% off Love Bomb Bootcamp immediately. So
amazing.
Yeah, we just really want to support other girls in their journey towards self-love. So that's what it's all about.
So cool. Okay, awesome. And you guys should definitely also follow her on Instagram. She posts such a cool, vibe on Instagram. Oh, if you love being inspired, then definitely check her out at Little Fool Book on Instagram, right?
Yes, you got it.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming. I'm really excited to kind of dive into self-love this summer. And I think you're right. It's so easy to kind of see everyone else as like having their shit together in the summer and feel like you're running behind, whether it's in your business or just like the rest of your life. So thanks so much for kind of giving us those, tools and like a real path to follow when it seems like the easier thing to do is to kind of like hide and, wear maxi dresses and
it's too hot for maxi dresses.
Amen.
They're not practical.
Well, thanks so much for coming, and we'll talk soon.
Yes, thanks so much.